Firstly, I'd like to thank all the speakers who are before me, and you've given me a really difficult task, which is actually why you should go online and why you should do e-payments. So I could have the next slide, please. Firstly, after hearing all of the wonderful speakers before, I think there's going to be a clear question. Why should I do this? Or why should I go online? When should I go online and how should I go online? And is it really worthwhile? And I think this is a very important part, because what we're not trying to scare people into doing is atrophy. There's actually a real benefit to going online. So could I have the next slide, please? Firstly, why? I think we will all realize that more and more services are moving into a digital channel. And if you aren't able to consume those services, then actually you are losing out as a consumer. You may not have access to the same services. You may not have access to them at the same price. Sometimes it's cheaper to get a product online. Sometimes it's only available online. And sometimes you only have the selection that you want online because the variety is there. There's also a convenience factor. You're no longer tied to when a shop is open. Your services are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The services have been streamlined so you can access them on your mobile phone. You can access them at home. You can even access them when you're abroad. It's never been more convenient. But that doesn't mean you don't have a responsibility when accessing and using these services. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Lastly, and this is a new point, online is contactless. And this is something that has become relevant today with the COVID-19 situation. One of the things that we have seen is that online has actually been one of the ways we can battle COVID, because people have the opportunity to continue with the services and products that they want undisrupted by what has actually been a very difficult situation in the physical space. So again, this would not be possible. And these are the reasons why it's a benefit to go online and do transactions. But the next question is when. So could I have the next slide, please? Firstly, related to the convenience factor is what time should you do this? And I think time is an issue which was brought up by a number of people. You should never do this when you're in a rush. You should never do this when you're in a hurry. You should do this when you've got time to actually contemplate the transaction that you're doing and look at whether it's a genuine transaction. You should also be ready. Many of the systems are ready. In fact, the fraud detection is built in by the banks. The 2FAs are built there. Sorry, previous slide. The fraud detection is there by the banks. 2FAs are provided. OTPs are provided so that you are secure. But do you know how to use them? Do you have the cyber hygiene in place to actively make use of these solutions so that you are safe? And then lastly, now, when should you do this? And I think the answer is now. I think there's an opportunity now for us to really take that leap of faith into this new space, but it shouldn't be a blind leap of faith. It should be a leap of faith that's informed, again, when you have time and when you're ready. The last slide. So how do I start? I think this is the most important thing. Don't go from zero to hero. Don't start large. If you're not used to doing big value transactions in the physical space, don't make your first online transaction a big transaction. Start small. Start with simple activities. It could be pay now. You could be sending money to a family member or friend. That could be your first transaction. They can confirm that they received it. It's unlikely that you'll be sending a large amount, so send a small amount. Get familiar with it. Start small. Start with some of your traditional activities and moving them into digital spaces. How do you pay for your insurance? If you're paying your insurance agent every year by check, find out if there's a digital way to pay the same person. So you're reducing the number of variables in your activity. You're not trying to do too many new things at once. You're taking a traditionally physical activity and converting just part of it to a digital. Lastly, learn. And I think this is where the sessions like this evening are very valuable. You need to learn how to be safe. And that can be from sessions like tonight, or it can actually be from friends, families who have more experience than you in this space. But again, when learning from these people, remember that your credentials and your passwords are still your property that you need to protect. Just because somebody is going to teach you how to cook a meal doesn't mean you give them the keys to your house so that they can have access to your kitchen anytime they want. You still need to protect your keys. And I take the example that Chikin gave at the beginning of this as a very, very clear one. How do you make sure that you hold on to your keys? So again, why, when, and how? These are the messages, because at the end of the day, this is a journey that we are all going on, and it is a journey that we will all adopt more as we use more and more digital services. And payments are essential to those because those are the things that will allow us to consume and use those services. May, I've taken a quick run through my slides because I realize that we are well into the panel session. So maybe we'd like to move to that.